Hey people, welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. Right now I am driving through the city or town of Tipton, Indiana. Uh, this town of Tipton, Indiana has got a population of a little over 5,000 people, and there is 1,821 people per square mile. That's the population density. And Tipton is 52 miles or close to an hour outside of Indianapolis. Now, and I did look at some properties out here in Tipton. Well, I didn't look at properties out here, but I did some research for properties out here that might be for sale. Now, according to data, the cost of living out here is fairly low. And although it is lower than many other parts of the country, I will say at this particular point, the cheapest home I saw for sale here in Tipton, Indiana has been $99,000. And that particular house came with, the house itself was 900 and some square feet. The lot size was about 6,000 square feet, which basically that's nothing special. That's just a basic city lots. I mean, you're not even talking 2/10 of an acre. You're talking just a regular city lots. Now, I would say a few years ago, there used to be houses out here in Tipton that used to be for sale for much cheaper. I mean, to be completely honest, I haven't really kept a real close eye on the housing market here in Tipton in recent years, up until I sat down and collected a little bit of data for the purpose of me doing this particular video. And by the way, right now we are in downtown Tipton. So we're going to take it right through downtown, and then we'll take it right through some parts of the city of Tipton, just so you people know where I'm going. I mean, and I've been out here to Tipton before a few times, and basically this is a relatively quiet, smaller town, smaller city, whatever you want to call this area. I mean, you know, the population density is not as high as other places here in Indiana. I mean, Tipton, like many of your other smaller communities, used to be ex-industrial areas where people used to come here for work. And Tipton, like many of the other smaller areas, a lot of people over the years have left the area because of the lack of employment opportunities. And I would say more recent times, like in the last probably year or so, with this whole COVID situation going on and all the rioting going on, there's been a significant amount of people moving back into these smaller communities, because you got a lot of people that are fed up with bigger cities, and therefore they're leaving bigger cities. I mean, because like I said before, you know, you got a lot of people that are just absolutely fed up with living in a larger city due to the higher cost of living, due to more traffic, due to all the rioting. You just got people that are just fed up with it all, so they're leaving a lot of the larger cities and they're moving to smaller communities like this one. Oh, by the way, we will be going back through downtown Tipton. I just decided to take a bit of a detour just to break things up a little bit to make this video a tad bit more interesting. But yeah, anyhow, you do have quite a few people moving back out here to Tipton, which is why the cheapest home that I saw for sale, at least under the MLS, has been $100,000. And I will say there is a little bit more traffic out here than I would have anticipated, being that it's a Saturday and many people aren't working. Or two, it could be because people out here are driving slower, so you know, it is what it is out here. But as you all can see through this video, I mean, many of the neighborhoods here are pretty well kept. A lot of the streets appear to be very clean. And as I said earlier, the area is very quiet. The community here is very safe. The crime is very low. I mean, from what I can see, most yards are well kept. You don't see a whole bunch of garbage all over the place. I mean, you got a lot of nice looking older homes out here that people have either maintained extremely well, or they put some money and time into these homes and did some renovation to them. I mean, and I am a huge fan of these older houses that were built in the 1800s and into the early 1900s. I love these houses. I like how they look. I like the workmanship. I like the fact that they were built the way they were built, you know, real wood, real concrete, if you will, for when it came to the bricks and the cinder blocks. I mean, I just like these older houses. I can't help it. I mean, I love them. I mean, there's a lot of people that I know that would go out here and purchase one of these much newer contemporary houses. And I used to be one of those people, but I had a brand new house in southern Tennessee, and that house was a piece of junk. I mean, I bought this house, remind you, I bought this house brand spanking new. I was the very first person to move into this house. And from the day I moved into this house to the day I finally sold the damn thing and moved out, I mean, this house has been nothing but a bunch of problems. I mean, anything and everything that you can imagine that will fall apart in the house has fell apart in this house. I mean, the foundation began to crumple almost immediately. Shingles started falling off the roof. I mean, my air conditioner even ran out of Freon, which, if the system is newer, is not supposed to do that. So come to find out that people who built that particular house didn't even have the right air conditioning system on my house. It turned out that one, the air conditioning system was refurbished, and two, it wasn't even meant for a house, it was meant for an apartment. So yeah, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on, and as days are long, of why I would never again purchase a brand new house. Or a newer house for that matter. I mean, if I were to buy a newer home, the newest I would go would be something built in the mid 1990s. Because I would say after the mid 1990s, that's when a lot of these contractors started getting cheap and taking all kind of shortcuts and using all sorts of low quality material to build their houses. And I gotta say, that's one thing I like about many of these states here in the Midwest. I like the fact, I mean, I just like how these older houses look. Now, some of them I would never buy because I would never be able to afford to fix them, let alone keep them maintained and heated and all that fun stuff. But I gotta say, I'm somewhat of a sucker when it comes to these older buildings. I mean, I'm the kind of person that I'd rather put the money into fixing an older home than to going out here and buying a newer one. And I will say that the cost of living out here in Tipton, although it doesn't appear to be too bad, I will say that out of some of the other smaller towns I've driven through here in Indiana, I will say the cost of living here in Tipton is probably a little more expensive. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, if you're making under 40 grand a year, this is one of those type of areas that if you wanted to purchase a home, depending on your credit score and depending on your debt to income ratio, you can very well purchase a house here in Tipton. You can very well do so. Now, if you purchase a house through a mortgage, my suggestion would be to get a mortgage that's no longer than 15 years. And just as a side note, studies have proven that the average millionaire pays off their house in 10.2 years. See, the Ramsey Solution team, i.e. Dave Ramsey and Chris Hogan, They did a study of 10,000 millionaires a few years ago, and they've determined that the average millionaire pays off their home in 10.2 years. So if you buy a home and you take out, let's say, a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, take out the 15-year mortgage, but plan to pay it off in 10 years, is what I'm trying to tell you. But even if you don't make that 10-year mark, and it takes you closer to that 15-year mark to pay it off, that's still a lot better than taking out a traditional 30-year mortgage. Because the amount of interest that you save by paying off your home in 10 to 15 years as opposed to 20 some or 30 years is it's astonishing. It's astonishing. It really is. I mean, and there's a formula out here, which I will do a video of that formula. I mean, there's a formula out here that breaks down how your mortgage is figured out. I mean, the formula is a bit complicated, so I can't really explain it on this video. But there's a math book that I have at my house, and I saved it from back when I was going to school because it's got this particular formula in it. And this the kind of formula that banks will use when they figure out your mortgage. Like when they figure out your monthly payments. This is the particular formula that they use. And I will make a video of that at some points. But anyways, the amount of money that you save by paying off your home in 15 years as opposed to 30 is, I mean, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Like, if you take out a 30-year mortgage, for those who take out 30-year mortgages to buy a home, knowing what I know, my joke to these individuals is like, yeah, one house for you, one for the bank. Because basically, when you buy a house on a 30-year mortgage, that's exactly what you're doing. I mean, the amount of interest that you pay on a 30-year mortgage is enough to buy yourself a house, and it's also going to be enough to buy a house for the bank. So yeah, I mean, the amount of money that you'll save by paying off your home within 15 years is astonishing. Now, if you go to your bank or your mortgage broker and you sit down and you have them rip out a calculator and you sit down with them and you run all the numbers, you'll be able to see exactly how much money that you can save by paying off your house in 15 years as opposed to allowing it to drag out for 30 years. But yeah, anyone that moves out here to Tipton, Indiana, if you're making less than 40 grand a year, most likely with this current housing market, you're gonna probably have to take out some kind of a mortgage or loan or something to be able to afford a lot of these houses around this area, because the housing market around here is off the chain. Like I said, the cheapest home out here right now is at $99,000. And there is absolutely nothing special about this particular home. It's just a plain Jane, basic, single story, 900 square foot home with a 6,000 square foot lots. I will go and do a video on it, but there's currently somebody living in that property, so I can't go over there. But, this is just, I just wanted to let you people know that the housing market here in in many of these smaller communities, especially the ones like this one here in Tipton, you know, many of your more appealing smaller communities like this one, I mean, it's almost like as soon as someone puts a house up on the market for under, I'll just say 100 grand, somebody's gonna come by and grab that shit right up. Because a half hour from here you got Kokomo, Indiana, which, you know, as I mentioned on my other videos, Kokomo, Indiana does have quite a few factory jobs that do pay pretty well, which is only a half hour from here. So, I mean, I would say that Tipton, Indiana is definitely a very desirable, smaller community here in Indiana. Now, me personally, would I live in Tipton? Probably not. Not because I don't like it out here, because it's beautiful out here. But me personally, I think for what the cost of living here in Tipton is, although it is on the low end of things, I mean, being the penny pincher that I am, I would probably look for a community that's small like this one, except the housing price is a little lower. I mean, like I said, one of my favorite smaller communities here in Indiana is Alexandria. And I feel in Alexandria, you tend to get a slightly better bang for the buck than you do here in Tipton when it comes to your housing. I mean, to me, Tipton is, you know, although it is a smaller town, if you will, I mean, Tipton to me kind of reminds me of a suburb. I mean, I will say that traffic here in Tipton is a little busier than what I thought it would be. And just so you guys understand, whenever I do these videos of these communities, I try to get a little bit of everything in terms of these smaller communities. So just so you guys understand, I'm not going to be able to get every neighborhood. I'm not going to be able to get every nook and cranny of these communities, because for one, I mean, because mainly I just don't got that amount of time on me at this point to do that. Now once this channel begins to grow and I'm able to do this full time as a living, then I'll do a better job at getting more of these communities. But for right now, I still have to work a 9 to 5, so I basically do these videos around my schedule. So I do try to get a little bit of everything on these videos, but I'm not going to be able to get every nook and cranny. I'm not going to be able to get every single neighborhood or house or any of that. So if there's a particular area that you want me to go and record and make a video of, leave a comment below and I'll try to get out to that particular area and make a video of that particular area. But when I do videos like this, basically I'm hitting general areas to where I know there's gonna be some affordable housing. Basically, I use these videos to educate people on what kind of neighborhood that you're gonna most likely be living in that particular area. I try to hit neighborhoods to where there's going to be housing within the price range of, you know, I try to hit neighborhoods to where I feel people who make 40 grand a year or below will most likely be able to afford to purchase a home in. I mean, I don't really see the purpose of driving through a, let's say, $250,000 neighborhood. Like I said before, the premise of this channel is to show people who earn less than 40 grand a year to live their best and happiest life. And common sense would tell any idiot that if I'm showing you houses, if I'm driving through neighborhoods to where the average house is selling for, let's say, a couple $100 grand, I mean, any idiot is going to understand that if you're making less than 40 grand a year, you're not going to be able to afford that type of a lifestyle. So I don't even waste my time driving through those particular areas. So that's another reason why I'm not going to attempt to show you every nook and cranny of these communities. Now I realize this video is going on over 30 minutes, and normally I try not to go this long for a drive around video. But a lot of times through my drive around video, I'll cut it up. I'll do one video to where I just show the downtown, and then I'll do a whole separate video to where I just drive around the neighborhood. I'm just doing something a little different this time. Now, if you people rather have it to where I do downtown as a separate video, and I do a neighborhood on the separate video, leave a comment below and I'll accommodate. But right now I'm just trying something a little different. But I would say, traffic-wise, Tipton, Indiana reminds me a little more of the suburbs than it does a smaller community, if you will. And I'll be honest, I can't get over how clean many of the areas here are. I mean, this is such a clean community. I mean, a lot of people here take pride in their stuff. They keep up on their yards and everything. A lot of these houses look like people take good care of them. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. Everybody have a blessed one, and I will see you all on the next video.